me, this one's going to go big.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Right then, so we're going to have an update on the arcade simulator situation because that video has created quite a bit of interest on my channel. Many comments and quite a few questions being asked. And also over at Desert Island Fruits 2, the thread has popped back to life in the last few days with that recent update that John Parker made to the simulator, adding in the deal or no deal machines that you can see here. So there's a couple of things that I want to clear up because John himself did clarify a couple of things for me, things that I got wrong in the original video. I have already been answering people in the comments who were getting confused about something that I got wrong. So hopefully anyone who's been caught out by this has been you've been given the correct advice, but I do want to get it out there publicly for everyone going forward. I also want to mention some of the things that John Parker has got in the works, things that he wants to get done, which will answer questions that people have been asking. And I am also going to show it running on 3 different machines. Now, I've already said that it runs fine on the laptop that I'm recording this on, which is kind of like a gaming laptop. This has got an RTX 2070 GPU in it, so you'd expect that to be fine. My main PC upstairs has got a GTX 1080 in it, a little bit older, but that was a high-end card in its day, so that runs it fine. What I'm going to show you here, I'm going to get my little trusty old camcorder out that I used to use for my online slots video. I'm going to take you around 3 other machines that we've got in the house and show you how it works on those, but specifically focusing on some of the weaker machines that we have in the house. So I'm not going to my daughter's got a gaming laptop, Mrs. Degsy's got a gaming PC. We know how it's going to run on them, so I'm going to deliberately choose 3 of the lower powered machines that we have around the place. Now, the first thing that I want to say is to correct a mistake that I made, because I said that when you download the arcade simulator from the link, and again I will put the link in the video description of this one, that it will install MFME version 20.1 for you. It doesn't. Now, in fairness to myself, and John did acknowledge this, he can understand why I reached that conclusion, but it was incorrect. What the arcade simulator installer does, basically when you run it, it scours your system for MFME 20.1, and when it finds it, it copies it to its own installation directory. I did wonder about that, I've got to be honest with you, because I didn't think that it would be kind of permitted to bundle the emulator in with something else, because that historically, that was something that Chris never wanted to happen. So, and that isn't the case here. So for clarity, you will have to have the emulator installed on your system already for the arcade simulator to work. Now, the good news is that's not difficult. So basically, you go over to Desert Island Fruits, you go to downloads there. Can you see there? It's the very first thing that you will see. So first off, you're going to need to be registered over at Desert Island Fruits. From the main portal page there, you go to downloads, you go to MFME, which will be the top link, and there you will be able to download MFME version 20. When you run that for the first time, it will update itself to version 20.1, and then you are good to go. I will put a link to this in the video description. So the first thing you need to do is get the emulator itself installed. If you are asking me, or rather some people have asked me, I can't download, I don't have enough reputation over at Desert Island Fruits. That is because downloads are restricted to new sign-ups. As I've said this before, all of us in the world of fruit machine emulation, we all do it for the love of it, we all do it as a hobby, but nothing comes for free. Just because you're doing something for a hobby doesn't mean you get, in Reg's case here for Desert Island Fruits, web hosting isn't free. He has costs involved with running this site. And that is why Reg asked for donations to help him run the site. I put some money into the pot every single year towards his running costs, and Reg is absolutely scrupulous about making sure that that money only goes towards running the site. So 2 ways of getting your downloads activated. You can start making posts and, interacting with other people on the forums. There's a forum where you can introduce yourself, introductions, new member, you can introduce yourself in there, and then you can start posting, say thank you to the layout designers on a release thread, get involved in some of the conversations that we're having there. That will build up your reputation, and then you will find that the download tiers are unlocked. Your other option is to make a donation to the site. There's a sidebar there. You click on donate now. It's a PayPal donation scheme. Once Reg has verified your donation, that will unlock downloads for you. And to be absolutely clear, this is not a money-making scheme. This is purely trying to cover the costs of running the site. So that's step 1. You need to download MFME. Step 2 is to download Arcade Simulator, which you get from this page here. Again, I will link this in the video description. And that is it. They are the only 2 things that you need. Step 1, install MFME. Step 2, install Arcade Simulator. Arcade Simulator finds the emulator on your machine and creates a copy of that installation that it uses for itself. That was a mistake that I made in the previous video. I apologize for that. From what I could see with my own eyes, it really looked like it was installing MFME as part of itself. John did clear that up for me. There's actually a bit of clever code he's done where it, like I say, it scours your system, and if it's on there, it will find it. So that's all you need to do to get it up and running. And this then moves on to point 2, which is what do you need to run it? And technically speaking, again, I made another mistake in the previous video in that it's not that it won't run on integrated graphics. So if you have a system, these are usually cheaper laptops or all-in-one devices, that kind of thing. There's a good chance that you will have integrated graphics on that. And I'm going to show you how you can check when I go around the other machines that we've got in the house. If you have integrated graphics, as long as it's not an ancient integrated graphics sort of element of your CPU die, it will run, but from my experience here, and I'll show you this, it's not going to run very well. But it doesn't lock you out completely. However, you are probably going to want, in honesty, some kind of discrete GPU or graphics card in your system, and I will get on to that. But just to answer a few of the questions, people were asking, for example, this has turned up at Desert Island Fruits and in the comments on my previous video, as time goes forward, will we be able to customize the arcade? Will we be able to put machines where we want to in the arcade? John has said that is something that he wants to do. At the minute, it's in more of an experimental phase. I think the thing that John's trying to do here, and this is why he's held off so long on actually releasing something, bearing in mind he's been working on this for months and months and months, when he actually released something, he wanted it to just work for the vast majority of people. He didn't want to kind of release something that everyone would just find incredibly disappointing because it didn't work. So at the minute, this is what we've got, and this, for most people, this will work out of the box, and it will be stable and it will be usable for you. Going forwards, there are many, many features that he's got in mind. One of those will be able to, or will enable you to put the machines that have been created, that have had the cabinets done and have had the conversion process done, whereby you will be able to put the machines that you want where you want them in the arcade. And as time goes by, of course, the pool of machines that's available will increase. He's got all kinds of other ideas that are in the development stages. Online functionality, for example, whereby you can share arcades with other people. So if you can imagine that, you can go into somebody else's arcade and play the machines and they will remember where they were up to. That's always been a little bit of the, I hesitate to use weak point of emulation, but one of the things that was never quite, despite the perfection of the emulation itself, one of the things that you could never quite get was surprising yourself with a machine, because really there was only ever you playing them. Autoplay could get around that to an extent if you set up an autoplay profile and let that do its thing for a bit and then you pick up playing the machine yourself. But there's never been that ability to play a machine that has been played by another human being, short of manually kind of sharing your RAM and GAM files with somebody else. but that is something that John has got on the horizon as well. Some kind of online functionality, some kind of ability to save machine states, arcades and that kind of thing with other people. I don't want to say too much here in terms of the fact that these are all at the development stages, and John is quite upfront and honest about the fact that these are things that he wants to do, and he can't make cast iron promises about what is to come. And I think for the immediate future he is focusing on getting more machines into the arcade. And that will be, for the time being, we will all get the same version of the arcade. But certainly at some point in the future, the idea is that you will be able to effectively design your own arcade, choose from all the available machines and put them where you want. Looking further out to the future, or in the future as well, the ability to maybe import machines for yourself. He has written an importer that does that process of converting and a layout from the emulator into a 3D machine for the arcade. But that's a complex process, and there are still a lot of manual steps involved. That's not something that's available for general release yet, but going forward, that is something that's on the "it would be nice if this were possible" list. But I did stress this in the previous video. At the end of the day, it's one guy who's doing this, so that's one pair of hands. There's a limit to what is possible. And on that note, by the way, if there's something that you think you might be able to help with, if you are, say, a dab hand in 3ds Max, 3D Studio Max, and you think, you know what, I could probably help John out here by building some cabinets for him, please, by all means, get registered over at Desert Island Fruits, make yourself known. There's nothing to say that this can't be more of a collaborative project. The kind of thing that I wouldn't know where to start. I have no skills in this area whatsoever, which is why I really do, like I say, doff my cap and give full respect to John for what he has achieved here by himself. But if you've seen anything here that maybe you could assist with or collaborate with John on, please do make yourself known over at Desert Island Fruits. But for the here and now, let's just focus on where we are, which is the current version of what is downloadable, which is what we are seeing here. This is the latest version. If you download this now and get it running on your machine, this is the arcade that you will get, and these are the machines that will be in there. And on that note, what I'm going to do is actually show you now what it runs like on different machines. Now, in this case, this is the machine that I'm running it on here. This is this laptop. Now, as you can see here, I've got a 6-core CPU. It's hyper-threaded, which is why you can see 12 cores there. Bags of memory, fast SSD for my boot drive, a data drive. Now, this is the key thing here, is that I have got integrated graphics on my CPU, but this machine also has a discrete GPU, and you can see there an RTX 2070. And what I'm going to do is get the arcade simulator running, and you can see what kind of load it puts it under. So I am actually now firing up on it's a dual screen display here as well. I'm just going to focus on the task manager on this one, but you will be able to see the system coming under load here as the arcade. I'm just on the loading screen at the minute. It's not actually rendering anything yet. It's just loading in. And now I'm going to actually go into the arcade, and you will see the utilization on those is going to jump up as I go into the arcade. And you will see the system being put under more load. So there we are. I'm now in the arcade and I'm moving around. But as you can see, that this laptop is not struggling. I am now moving around the arcade, looking at all the machines. I've got loads of stuff on screen. You can see there, it is putting GPU 1, that is the discrete graphics card, it is putting that under some load. The CPU is under some load. You can see that obviously the memory usage has increased, but fundamentally, as you would expect, this machine can cope with that no problem. So if you are rocking any kind of modern, mid to high end GPU, you're not going to struggle with running this. What we are interested in, I think, is what does it run like on lower end parts. And here is the first one we are into. So that's that laptop there, and that's the mic I was yapping into. So that's the big beefy laptop there. That's the one that I used to do all my recording on and everything like that. But this, however, is a secondary machine that I have in here. This is my office, you see. This is my office by day and recording studio and occasional games room by evening or when I'm off of that kind of thing. So this here is a secondary machine that I've got. And the thing with this is it doesn't have a discrete GPU in it. You can see there, we've got a quad-core CPU in it. We've got 8 gig of RAM, SSD drive there. And this is currently running. You can see there, I've got the arcade running. I am in the arcade. And look at that there. It is, can you see it just bouncing along the top there? The GPU in this thing, which are basically weak integrated graphics, is just absolutely maxed out. And if we go, I'm sure you can see that there. That is not particularly pleasant. And if you go in front of a machine, I'm going to have to try and do this one-handed. Let's just see if Indy will fire into life for us here, shall we? Sorry, I do apologise. I'm doing this one-handed, so. I mean, it works. I tried it yesterday. It does work, but it's not pleasant. So we'll just wait for Indy to spring into life as well. I can hear the little fan in this laptop is moaning as well. It doesn't like doing this. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Trying to run 3D rendered graphics on me. It's not what I'm for. So can you see that? I mean, it kind of works, but it's not pleasant. It's not. I mean, at a push, you could possibly. I've got that turned up a bit loud. Not to worry. You see there, it's a bit laggy. It's a bit. I don't know. I mean, you could kind of make a case that it's possibly playable. I don't know. I wouldn't want to play this. I've got to be honest. Oh, since we're here, shall we? Oh, not a getaway. Don't you dare give me an escape. Oh, we might. You know what? That'll be quite a good. Don't kill me. Oh God! Fucker!
I lost it.
One bullet. You know what? You'd be right fucked if that. You'd be annoyed if it did you. That to you in the arcade, or indeed in your virtual arcade. So you can see here. This is about, I would say, the worst case scenario for how this will run. It does run, that's the point. These are integrated graphics and this does run, but you can see there it does not like it. So have a look in your task manager. If you've got something like that, Intel UHD graphics, there are other versions, I think there's a 630 and a 640, which are a little bit more powerful, but fundamentally you can see there, can you see how janky it is? That is not a good frame rate. If I had to have a guess, I'd say I'm pushing about 10 frames a second there, maybe 15 frames a second. But you could look at it, you could certainly load it up and you could have a wander around the arcade, but it's not the ideal way to play it. But it does show that it will at least run on integrated graphics. I am going to come out of this because this laptop is not liking this. So we're going to go up a notch here. This is one of the older machines in the house. This used to be Mrs. Degsy's gaming PC, but it got retired to media centre PC duties. About 2 years ago now. It's not bad. It's got a quad-core CPU, quite an old one, only 8 gig of RAM. Got a load of bloody USB hard drives hanging out of it. The important bit there is that it does have a discrete GPU, but it is an old one. The GeForce GTX 960 dates back to the start of 2015. So it's like 6.5 years old now, this graphics card. It's only got 2 gigabytes of RAM on it. So I was curious to see how this would run the arcade simulator. I'm going to have to do that. Come on, Degsy, you could have planned this better. And here we are in the arcade, and the key point is here, is that it actually works pretty nicely on this. You can see there, I'm sure you can see that even just through the camcorder, that is much, much smoother. I'm not entirely sure it's a perfect, I don't know, that might even be 60 FPS. It's really not bad. Can you remember, hang on, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Let's go, shall we go and find Indy? Just excuse me, I'm passing the keyboard and mouse here from, so Indy was down here. Sorry, I'm doing this a bit cack-handed, because I'm one-handed here. There we are, let's find Indy again, and let's have a go on Indy, because I've picked the wrong machine. I've picked a bloody Monopoly. Well, shall we put £1 in Monopoly and let's see how it goes. So a look here. I'll just come back a bit. They do take a little bit to initialise these things. So the point of this one, because I did try all these before, so I kind of knew what was going to happen. This here, this is an old graphics card. The GTX 960 is A, it's an old graphics card, and B, it wasn't particularly, it was a mid-range card when it was new. If you're not aware with NVIDIA's naming conventions, they generally have, in any given generation, they'll have like an 80 series card at the top. 70 series card will be your mid to high end, 60 would be a mid-range, and the 50 would be a low to mid-range. They have an 80 Ti at the top as well, which is always some stupid fucking money. I never buy them. So the 60 class card is a reasonably mid-range card, even when it's brand new. So what we've got here, and that is fine. I don't know if you can see that there. That is running absolutely fine. So that says to me that you do not need, once you actually get into the world of having a discrete GPU, you know what, that is actually super, super smooth, and I'm sure you can see it there. That is absolutely fine, and that is, I would say that is entirely playable. Yeah, I think that is absolutely fine. That is completely playable, really, really smooth. So yeah, the good news there is you really don't need much in the way of power when it comes to a discrete graphics card to get a good performance out of this. I think you do just need to get out of the integrated graphics space. And then we'll do one more. This is my daughter's, well, secondary PC now, because she's got a gaming laptop as well. But you can see that's actually got the same CPU in it, but it's got a more modern GPU. We've got a GTX 1060 in this case, which harks back to the middle of 2016. And here you are, given the results that we saw on the GTX 960, which is an older and weaker card than this, as you would imagine, it runs absolutely fine on this. Once again, the GTX 1060 was a mid-range card even when it was new. So, and that is buttery smooth. That is absolutely fine. I do know that, and John has said this on the thread. Sorry, I'm just walking into the corner there because I need to switch hands. There we are. He has put a lot of work into optimizing this. He didn't want this to just be the preserve of people who had, ninja gaming PCs. He did want it to be able to run on lower end hardware. Within certain parameters, there's only so much you can do. Integrated graphics are notoriously weak. I think you are going to have a hard time getting a playable experience, or a pleasant experience maybe, on integrated graphics. But it looks to me, if a fucking 6.5-year-old GTX 960 2GB card can make a really good job of running this, that says to me that you don't need to chuck much in the way of horsepower at it. You do just need to get out of the integrated graphics space. So when we go back downstairs, I'll have a little... The problem is, you might be aware of this, it's a fucking nightmare buying graphics cards at the moment. Combination of worldwide chip shortages, silicon shortages, huge demands on silicon production. The pandemic hasn't helped. Cryptocurrency mining hasn't helped. The graphics card market at the moment is all kinds of fucked up, which has made things very, very awkward. But I'm sure we'll be able to find something that will hopefully be affordable for most people. If you're not currently in a spot where you can run this, hopefully we can find something that will get you into a place where you can. But honestly, the good news is here, you don't need to chuck much horsepower at this. If you've got any kind of modern machine, you're going to be laughing. But I think we'll be able to work something out for people who are on lower powered machines. But that is absolutely spot on, that. Running on what, frankly, is a fairly old mid-range graphics card now. Isn't it amazing just wandering around this arcade? Even as it is now, I am kind of spellbound by this. And as this arcade gets filled out with more machines, more cabinets, more technologies, I mean, my word, it's something to look forward to, isn't it? Right, unfortunately, the world of graphics cards is still completely fucked up. They're wanting 180 quid for a GTX 1050 Ti. That is absolutely fucking batshit. And that's for something that's even in stock. I mean, if we have a look at is what a nice, sort of sensible mid-range card there, the 1660, completely unavailable, 1660 Ti, 390 quid. You can stuff that up your fucking arse. 390 quid for it. This is the world we're in, I'm afraid, with graphics cards. It is just completely fucked up. And that's for stuff that's even in stock. But to give you an idea, you would probably want to be targeting something around this. If you're purely interested in something that's got enough to run Arcade Simulator and would give you enough sort of grunt to just run some, sort of games at 1080p at reasonable graphics settings, something like these, anything from a 1650 up would be fine, to be honest with you. I mean, there's just nothing. These are, have we got any, these are all going to be, God, if there's any of these in stock, they're going to be after, look at that. Over 1,000. It's completely, absolutely fucked up. My main gaming PC is 3 years old. And I've been toying with the idea of just buying a whole new PC. And then my daughter can have mine as a hand-me-down, as an upgrade to her old one. And the prices are just crazy. I just refuse to pay the prices that they're asking for stuff at the minute. See, now you might want something a bit more than these. The problem with these is these are scared. That's probably the 1050. When you get down to these super low end ones, you're actually barely any more powerful than integrated graphics. Some of these are just a little bit of a jip. They just shouldn't exist at all, to be honest with you. So it's a crazy, crazy world. And I've just had a little look on eBay here. You can get there a GTX 960 and an old. That's basically. That's a 4 gig version of the card I was using upstairs. You can get that for 55 quid off eBay, but it's a really shit play. It's a really shit world at the moment in terms of getting a graphics card. Your actual best bet is to get them as part of a system. This is what a lot of places are doing. They are, because they realise that graphics cards are so heavily in demand, they're bundling them in with other things, usually as a pre-built system or something like that. So your best bet, but obviously that's going to cost you more money, would be potentially to get a whole new system. Unfortunately, that's where we're at with graphics cards at the moment. So it's awkward. I will be the first to admit it's awkward. If you are in, it's a horrible position to be in if you're in the market for a graphics card at the moment. I mean, let's just have a look. How much a fucking GTX 1060's going for? Dread to even look. So yeah, GTX 1060 6GB. That's essentially the card that was in the previous sort of clip from upstairs. My daughter's PC. You can get them pre-owned now. These are crackers price for what they are. These are crazy prices, to be honest with you. And have we on? Where's buy it? They should be able to do buy it now, shouldn't we? Buy it now. I don't use eBay. So what we got? Yeah, 3 gig. That'd be all right. 139. These are. I'm afraid that a faulty one for 60 quid. Here, buy this literal piece of shit for 60 quid. Thanks very much. So. It's not great. That's not. Buy it now for 60 quid. Okay. Parts only. Does that one even work? Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not a great spot. If you need to know more on this, maybe join us over at Desert Island Fruits and we can have a little bit more of a conversation about it. It's a shit spot to be in at the moment, wanting to buy a graphics card. Let's just have a look over at Scan. Have they got any in stock at all? The 1660. Are these all just, does the fact that there's no prices on any of them, I guess, means that none of these are in stock? It's a perfect storm of everything sort of going wrong at the same time in terms of getting graphics cards at the moment. GTX 1650 would do it, to be honest. That'd be fine. 190 quid, that is a preposterous amount of money for that graphics card, but at least it's in stock. So Yeah, it's a bit gloomy. Yeah. If you're prepared to buy a whole laptop, you might be in a little bit of a better spot. Can you see here, eBuyer have got a load in the £600 range or £650 range. These have got a 1650 or a 1650 Ti in them. All of those would be more than capable of running out, and you'd actually have a reasonable little system for playing games on at 1080p at decent frame rates and detail settings. That's kind of where you're at the minute, unfortunately, is buying whole systems. I mean, gaming PCs. Let's have a look. Sorry, I realise I'm going a little bit off piste here, but I'm just trying to think if anyone out there is thinking, I want to play this, I don't have a system at the minute. Again, that would be fine. That would be fine. A 1050 Ti would do the job. So you can actually get off. I mean, is that in stock? Is that actually in stock? Yeah, in stock. So there we are. So, 680 quid. So if you're kind of thinking about, if you've been, I realise that you're not going to spend that just to play Arcade Simulator. That would be a big ask. But if you've been thinking about getting a system anyway for other things, you can see any of these, honestly, would be more than good enough to run Arcade Simulator, and you'd have a decent anything that has got. So you see there these lowest price ones here, integrated Radeon graphics, AMD Radeon graphics, that they are integrated into the CPU. You want to be getting a discrete CPU. So that one there, 680 quid up on that one, and I think it was 600 quid for the was the cheapest laptop, wasn't it? But that's kind of one of the only ways you can get a graphics card without being ripped a new arsehole at the moment, unfortunately. Companies are, and the manufacturers are realising that they can just sell them as part of other things rather than by themselves. Or if they are selling them by themselves, they know that they can charge the earth for it. But there are options out there, but hopefully you've already got something that you can run this on. But if nothing else, demonstrated for you that you don't actually need anything super powerful. You can get a really good experience on a 5 or 6 year old graphics card with the CPUs in those two machines upstairs, they debuted back in 2014, I think, that they're 7-year-old CPU technology, and they're more than good enough. It looks to me that what you actually need to run Arcade Simulator, it's the GPU power more than the CPU power. So I will leave this one here now. I think I've covered everything that I need to cover. I'll put the links that you need for the bits and pieces that you need in the video description. But remember, it is literally just the emulator. Install that, then install Arcade Simulator, and you are good to go. And like I say, hopefully you've got a machine already that you can run it on, because you are in a world of pain somewhat if you are in the market for a graphics card at the moment, which is a little bit of a shame. Do also be aware there is lots of stuff that John has got planned for the future. Again, by all means, join up over at Desert Island Fruits. There's a long-running thread there. John himself is very receptive to engaging with people there and answering questions. And one final point, sorry, I nearly forgot about this. John has said, he replied over at Desert Island Fruits to say that he is more than happy to do that kind of sort of interview type thing with him, where he's going to go into more detail about the technical challenge that he's faced with this, how he's actually done it, some of the technologies that he's used, the techniques that he's used to extract, as it were, the output from the emulator and all that kind of thing. So thank you very much to John for that, because he said he's more than happy to work with me on doing a follow-on video where we're really going to do a little bit of a dive under the bonnet of this thing to see what he did to make this work. So that will be a future video, and going forward from here, it is my intention to keep on top of what's going on here with Arcade Simulator. I did hold off for so long because I wanted there to be something that you could all try for yourselves before I did a video about it. We are at that point now, and it is my intention going forward to keep on top of this project and keep you sort of appraised of what's going on via my channel. And of course, the sad truth is, of course, that Wizard is no longer with us, so there will not be any new developments in terms of the emulator itself going forward. That isn't going to happen now. But we do have thanks to Chris's emulator as the foundation for what we are seeing here, the build, the kind of building blocks here, like I say, that the foundation that underpins what we are seeing here. We do now have the arcade simulator going forward, which will enable Fruit Machine emulation to continue to thrive and prosper and grow in a new direction, which is, as you can see here, a 3D rendered arcade. So I'll be getting that done in due course. I'll be reaching out to John, starting to get that information from him and putting that into a video for you, and I will keep you up to date with what's going on in terms of new features and developments and things that are being added in. So with that said, thank you very much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will catch up with you next time, but for now it is goodbye.